What a day. Welcome to the 2023 Virginia Talent Pipeline Program Hampton Roads Flag Signing Day. We couldn't be more pleased that you're here today for this tremendous celebration for the program that is truly going to change the way America thinks about talent acquisition and retention to build our defense, industrial base, and therefore the protection of our country. My name is Joe Bartow, and I'm privileged to lead this program. And as we welcome, what I'd like you to do is please stand for the arrival of the official party and the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Colors. Ready. Cut. About. Face. Post. Colors. Ready. Cut. Left. Face. Forward. March.
Thank you. Please be seated. So first, a little personal story. 45 years ago, next week, I graduated from the military academy. And 3 weeks after that, I got married, which is tradition for young officers that don't want to be by themselves for the rest of their lives. So over our 45 years of marriage, we have 8 children, 4 by birth and 4 by marriage. And I just wanted to recognize that often in my family, my daughters love me more than my sons do. It's always good politics for us, but I had a proud dad moment today because my daughter Bethany Bartow was the one who sang the national anthem. Also, what a tremendous display of soldiering or sailoring by the Color Guard, provided by Kecoughtan High School's Naval ROTC program and Senior Chief Field. So wherever they are, make sure you commend them for the work that they've done here today. Also, we'd like to recognize some of the VIPs here. Drew Lumpkin from Senator Mark Warner's office, Diane Kaufman from Senator Kane's office, Dr. Cotton from Chesapeake City Schools, and Jenny Perry from the McDonald Group, Governor McDonald's organization, and then the other people that are here today. This is a really, really big deal for us and for you, and certainly for the employers that are here today in what we're trying to get done. So the Three years ago in 2020, we had an idea. And that idea was we needed to change the nature of the conversation around talent acquisition and retention in America. What we needed to do, or what we thought, was that the idea that we could train a bunch of people inside of our training institutions and hope they could find a job was not working. So what we decided to do is get on the employer side of the equation. And we understood that in America, fundamentally, nobody finds a job until an employer actually offers them a job. So when we got on the demand side of the equation, we started a program here in Virginia in 2017 with the GLS program, and Mr. Roberts here today was certainly instrumental in that, where we tested that policy and that hypothesis that if we formed a team aligned around a single mission, then we could help our employers, specifically small and medium-sized employers, improve their talent acquisition and retention systems. And if they did, they would run a better business. And if they ran a better business, they would be able to provide more capacity to the Navy to meet the Navy ship construction, ship sustainment program for the next 30 years. This is a big problem with a big challenge that the people in this room have decided to take on in a very meaningful way. So here, today, this is all about a celebration of what can happen when we refuse to accept the status quo, but come together to do something different, to believe that one relationship with an employer, one job, one new hire at a time will give us one better company able to provide more capacity to meet the Navy's demand to recapitalize the fleet. In August 2022, in this room, a small group came together and convinced the Navy that Hampton Roads was worth the investment. In October, we brought a bigger team together to kick off the Virginia program and start the process of rethinking our talent acquisition and retention systems. We met again in February of 23 to align and adjust, and today I'm very humbled and very proud that we have 28 employers, and today we'll announce 222 new employee accepted offers. What an incredible testament to their ability to do something different. So what's our core metric? Our core metric is the number of employers with a reliable year-over-year talent pipeline in order to run a better business and meet the Navy's demand. So Hampton Roads now joins forces with our Philly program. And 3 weeks ago in Philadelphia, we did the second one of these ceremonies. And after 2 years in that program, 2 years ago, we had 40 employers, had 280 accepted offers. From our first cohort of 259 accepted offers, 2 weeks ago, we recognized 167 of those people passed their first year anniversary on the job. It's an incredible testament because it's not how many you hire, it's how many you keep as productive, producing members of your teams. So today, this team is here in Hampton Roads. To my left are the employers that you're going to hear from every one of them today as they announce their new hires. To my right are the training providers who have been an incredible part of this network of people coming together around a common mission. To my front, we have many of the facilitators who has helped us connect those dots. We also have certainly leadership from the PEO and the SIB, Erica Logan, and you'll hear from Matt Sermon and Josh Sturgill here in a few minutes, who've been a tremendous leadership, provided tremendous leadership to this program because they trusted us to get into the space and produce an outcome. Then I have to always recognize my team at TMG for providing that connecting tissue, who believed that learning, coaching, encouraging, and recognizing each of them today to build and sustain value-added relationships are the secret sauce to this program and how we replicate this across the country. Key to this was 2018. I met our opening speaker today over at the New Horizons Regional Education Center when I was asked to brief the Good Life Solution Program. Came up to me after that, handed me his card and said, "I get it." And over the years, out of the coincidence, in 2020, late 2020, he said, "I think we're ready." And in 2021, we took a ride up to Philadelphia on April Fool's Day, and we met with a very small group of employers in a really small little training room at the Philly shipyard. And it was right in the teeth of COVID. And so we had several people there, but all masked up and sitting 6 feet apart. And then we had some people on the phone. And after we kind of laid out the idea, and at the end I looked at Matt and I said, "So what do you think?" And he said, "Let's do it." So this is also the incredible power of this idea, is we had 1,000 reasons to say we shouldn't do this. We had one reason to say we should, and that's why we're here today. So it's his vision, his leadership, along with Admiral Papano, who couldn't be here today, that are making this program possible. So it's my honor to present Mr. Matt Sermon, the Executive Director of the PEO for Strategic Submarines. So Matthew.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, all. Good morning, Admiral Caudle. Thank you for being here with us today, sir. Good morning to our distinguished guests, industry leaders, families, most importantly, folks who are embarking on an awesome career of service to our nation as part of this program. I'm thrilled to be back in Hampton Roads. Thanks to our good friends at Newport News Shipbuilding, I'm back pretty often, but thrilled to be talking to the community today. I spent 4 years here in the early 2000s when I was a young and naive naval officer, having an awesome learning time in this region, and so appreciated the spirit, the national security commitment, and really the beauty and people of this region. Now I'm a bit older and still naive. And to talk to you a little bit today before I introduce our keynote speaker, Admiral Caudle, about why, and maybe a little bit about how these workforce efforts. At the end of the session today, Master Chief Sturgill is going to talk to you in a fair bit more detail. They'll be the last speaker, so we'll all be throwing eggs and sounding alarms about why. I put forward to you that our industrial-based workforce, their skill, their commitment, their drive, their careers, our ability to retain them, our ability to make these careers awesome, family-sustaining, rewarding, growth-oriented, is national security. There is a real, earnest threat to our way of life, to our economy, to freedom of the seas. There's a few of them, actually. But it's real. In order to address that, we've got to have surface ships and submarines on station around the world to deter aggressive action that threatens our way of life. Pains me to say, as a former surface warfare officer, but I've come over the last 10 years to believe very strongly that especially submarines, right? And I won't get into all the details of why that is, but our ability to enable our sailors and their submarines to be on station in potential hotspots around the world directly linked to our future, to our national security. Putting those submarines on station is directly linked to our ability to maintain them, keep a high operational availability. And we're not there today. We're not providing Admiral Caudle and the rest of the fleet leaders with what they need today, both in terms of sustainment and new construction assets coming into the fleet. And we're gonna. Crucial to providing that operational availability is parts, components, work packages, and folks who can execute those. It's a very short trail from our way of life and national security to our industrial-based workforce. And it always has been. And this nation has proven over and over again that we can do that. We can work our way through that. This time there are headwinds, maybe even extra headwinds, right? A go-to-college culture, that's the only way that we established over 30 years. A services-based economy, and even an IT services-based economy over the past few years. Globalization, in some metal trades that are crucial to submarines and surface ships, we're at maybe 10 or 15% of our capacity that we had at the end of the Cold War. And across the defense industrial base, in every area, we're at least less than a third of where we were. In 1983, when we went to build, we went to launch the 5th Ohio-class submarine, the Henry M. Jackson. I use that as a data point because it's 40 years ago. Our nation was 35%, 36% by gross domestic product manufacturing. Today we're 12 and a half. Our workforce was 34% manufacturing. Today we're 11, 10.8, depending on how you squint. But here we come, right? To deliver the submarines and maintain the submarines that the Navy and nation needs, we've got to hire about 10,000 people into this industrial base across the nation, particularly in Hampton Roads and New England. Those are the higher number spots. Consistently, we've got to retain those folks. They've got to have great career growth jobs, sustain their families, contribute to national security, connect them to their mission. And we are doing that. We are doing that with the efforts in Philadelphia. We are doing that with your work here. We're doing it in Pittsburgh, for having the first signing day there in 16 or 17 days. We're starting efforts in Long Island, in the other spots in New England. This is the foundation of how we do this. This is the foundation of how we make the manufacturing industrial base maximize the manufacturing industrial base in this nation. Another critical part of how we do that is by improving manufacturing technology. And I'm really talking to you when I say that, right? How do we go on this journey of improving manufacturing technology, making these jobs better, higher paying, more skills, higher productivity? Tell us how. Probably wasn't supposed to go that long, Joe. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'll close and I'll say I sincerely appreciate you being here on a beautiful Saturday morning. Incredibly excited about those of you coming into this great career space, this national service, career growth, family sustaining job. Ask for help, learn your trade. Employers, have great supervisors. Belonging queues. We have a plan for you. We have a training plan for you. You're doing incredibly important work. Here's what your career growth looks like. And you're doing incredibly important things for national security. Those messages, they are all true. Those messages all the time. I'm really done. And with that, I will welcome Admiral Caudle, who is, we're incredibly blessed to have him here this morning to talk with us. He is the commander of U.S. Fleet Forces Command, meaning quite simply that across a wide variety of competencies, he is responsible for getting those assets to our sailors and to our component commanders who are going to fight the fight. Admiral Caudle has about 38 years of service to our Navy and nation, a submariner. So especially grateful to have one of the senior submariners in the Navy here. His last job was the commander of submarine forces. It's all the submarines. And commander submarine forces Atlantic, as well as the same job-ish. I'm sure he would distinguish between them, but has also been a commander of the USS Jefferson City. I hope I got that right, sir. And had a couple of other commands of submarines as well, and Submarine Group 3, and various other policy and operational positions, giving him an incredibly diverse set of experience and knowledge and skills. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Admiral Daryl Caudle to the stage for our keynote address.
All right, well, good morning. How's everybody doing today? It's really a fantastic event. Thank you, Matt, for that introduction. And to those completing the 2023 Virginia Talent Pipeline and signing on to a company, and those celebrating a new addition to the team, congratulations, or as we say in the Navy, bravo Zulu. I'm honored to be with you today for your signing for this program and allowing me to be part of the conclusion of this chapter of your lives and the beginning of the next. And what an exciting day. I can sense the excitement in the room. I can see it in your faces, and especially coming from your loved ones who are extremely proud of what you have accomplished and what you will accomplish, as Matt said, in support of our national security. And let me take a moment to address the family and friends directly. Your love and support were essential throughout this demanding program and will remain crucial as they move into their new careers. And I thank you for your continued encouragement as their careers take off. Now, how about a round of applause for all the families and friends of the Hampton Road class of 2023. This morning, we celebrate a success that is a year in the making, an achievement in which you learned your critical skills through dedication and hard work, including substantial technical education, valuable real-world waterfront experience, and comprehensive examination. Thus, it is important to me personally to be with you today so that I can relay the special significance of this achievement to each and every one of you. You are part of truly something special. No one else can do what our industrial base can do anywhere in the world. No one else is able to sustain a combat fleet, a conventional and nuclear-powered warships at such a high tempo over the class life cycle of 30, 40, and even 50 years. No one else is so critical to our ability to deter, to control the seas and power project at our timing and tempo. You all should be extremely proud. I know I am. It's impossible to see the town before me today and not be excited and confident in the future of our country. It's not only because of the mind-boggling scope and pace of repairs to the world's sophisticated and lethal instruments of military power, but it's also because of the people that do the work. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's cover why we're here today. Given this diverse group of government executives and program offices, industry leaders, retirees, veterans, I hope all are acutely aware of my on-the-record displeasure with our collective inability to produce and deliver ordnance on time and on cost, to complete maintenance and modernization availabilities on time and on cost, and the need to be at flank speed to build the much-needed capacity and output from our public and private shipyards. But on this signing day and Talent Pipeline Program Acknowledgement Celebration, my message remains consistent. We must all work together to build concrete and accountable actions that will get our Navy, ship, and submarine building plan back on track. This is an imperative that will ultimately allow fleet and type commanders to generate the forces needed that are combat ready and support our forward operational commanders, and additionally have an equally prepared force standing at the ready to surge and support contingency operations. And with that in mind, what I want to talk to you about today is the assembly of a world-class team of shipbuilders, engineers, program managers, business leaders, industry partners, sailors and operators, welders, pipe fitters, craftsmen, trainers, and facilitators that we will accomplish side by side, day in and day out, all in the name of peace, security, and prosperity of this great nation. For those of you who are unsure of what I do as the Fleet Commander or what we do at Fleet Forces at Command across my many hats, I am charged with organizing, training, and equipping a force of over 125,000 sailors and civilians with hundreds of ships and submarines and aircrafts that support facilities across the U.S. Atlantic Fleet that can ultimately prevail in high-end conflict while meeting the objectives of our combatant commanders worldwide. In short, we protect America from attack and go forward to defend our interests around the world, and if needed, fight and win on terms favorable to the United States. I will tell you as straightforward and as simply as possible, we need everyone in this room and across the nation to be all in, and not only the ship and submarine building and repair industry, but the defense industrial base writ large. There are threats on the horizons, and peacetime operations could one day become full kinetic warfare with little notice. As you see and hear about in the news, we are operating squarely in a maritime era. For decades now, we've enjoyed freedom of maneuver around the world and have supported our land and air forces securely from the sea. But we're in a different world today. The sea has once again emerged as the primary focal point for peer competition, and the stakes have never been higher. Russia is actively engaging in an illegal war of ruthless aggression against Ukraine, while year after year deploying its ships and submarines to our coastlines looking to shake our confidence. China is a pacing challenge to our way of life with its unprecedented proliferation of combat power in the Indo-Pacific and its continued attack on the international rules-based order. China's Navy is the largest in the world, with a battle force of around 340 platforms, including major surface combatants, submarines, ocean-going amphibious ships, mine warfare ships, aircraft carriers, and fleet auxiliaries. This figure does not include the approximately 85 patrol combatants and craft that carry anti-ship cruise missiles. The overall battle force of China's Navy is expected to grow to 400 ships by 2025 and 440 by 2030. The U.S. Navy is around 295 ships and will remain at that number over the next few years. With strategic competition here, the potential for strategic conflict steadily grows, and we cannot afford to continue to fall behind. We must leverage our areas of overmatch and enduring value. That's why in 2021, the Department of Defense, through the Program of Executive Office Submarines, funded this Talent Pipeline program, and thank God we did, to serve as a consultant to improve small to medium defense employers' ability to attract, hire, train, retain, and new hires beyond 1 year, significantly increasing the probability the employees will remain with the company or at least in the field, with a goal to ultimately improve the production capacity of the submarine industrial base to meet the defense industrial base's requirements to recapitalize our fleet over the next 30 years. Simply stated, the Department of Defense is investing time and energy into supporting the talent pipeline programs to build a strong foundation for private companies to ensure we never enter a fair fight with our Navy. The program office and Joe Bartow and his team, and I believe all that with the positive performance and growth comes through teamwork. Teamwork on the production floor with transparent leaders, champion constructive debate, innovation, hard work, and accountability. We need our workforce to not just feel a sense of connectedness, but to feel a sense of belonging, and deep affinity to a world-class organization enabled by trust and respect. I think best teams weather storms together. They have each other's back, they care for each other, and they pick each other up after a loss or tragedy. That's how we remain the world's most elite, integrated, full spectrum, and combat credible fighting force. And let me be crystal clear, elite is not perfect. Perfection leads to stagnation. Stagnation discourages innovation. And without innovation, we lose the ability to continually improve and attract and retain talent. An innovative and collaborative spirit attracts people like you to create, iterate, and produce the materials, equipment, repair activities necessary to win decisively in combat. We must never be comfortable with a product. Drive your teams to be elite by continuously and critically evaluating yourselves and improving. Any workforce given the time, space, and clear guidance will always create innovative solutions to our most challenging problems. I believe that if a team of employers and employees in this program have the right level of support, you all will in turn be able to provide greater support to the Navy fleet construction and sustainment programs, so that the Defense Industrial Base can increase the capacity to help build 2 Virginia-class attack submarines, 1 Columbia-class ballistic missile submarine, 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers each year, while continuing to build the 4 class carriers and the new Constellation-class frigates, plus continuing to support sustainment of our operational fleet. That is a tall order. While China and Russia can build their ships, tanks, aircraft, ordnance, and post pictures on social media all they want, our weapon systems are not just window dressing. They're not just talking points. Our weapon systems are built by talented industrial base and manned by battle-hardened warfighters who are absolutely ready to take the fight to the adversary and win. And speaking of our sailors and families, right now there are 15 submarines deployed around the world, showing firsthand why the President, the Secretary of Defense, the combatant commanders, and Navy leadership rely on the submarine force as the first to the fight and last to leave as the steely-eyed killers of the deep. Now, I'm not the first, and I certainly will not be the last to tell you that it is an indisputable fact that our 2 carrier strike groups, the Gerald R. Ford and the Ronald Reagan, are currently operating off the coast of Norway and in the Western Pacific, are the centerpiece of not only our naval fighting force, but our ability to overtly project power and strategic deterrence around the world. That force is a direct output of your efforts. You are joining an employer which is part of a world-class team of professionals focused and bore-sighted on helping the Navy secure our nation's vital national interest. We could not do it without you. As you will hear from the next few speakers, this program works, but it's still in its infancy. We will learn. As the talent pipeline expands across the East Coast, from Philadelphia to Hampton Roads to New York and Boston, we must all remain committed to improving our processes and continuing to invest in ourselves and our talent base. I would like to thank the many facilitators, training providers, and employers for participating in this venture. You are fighting to make companies better that will attract our nation's best to produce the platforms responsible for our nation's defense. And so for each of you, that vocation, that mission, provides a vast array of opportunities as you continue to progress as an artisan and as a craftsman. So the employees beginning your journey, I encourage you to stick with it and lean on your loved ones in times of doubt. Your vocation, your mission, creates a positive and lasting fighting difference in our ships and submarines, and most importantly for our sailors of the fleet who rely on your hard work, who sail the ships you have built around the world. It is a noble pursuit. It matters to your family because you can provide them with everything they need to thrive. It matters to your community because your work keeps our local economy humming and the fleet fighting. And it matters to your nation because that fleet can be present where it matters most to defend U.S. interests around the world. No other institution contributes so directly or so significantly to the nation's defense. For as long as the Navy has been America's away team, Hampton Roads Industrial Base has been the heart of our fleet, the readiness engine that revitalizes our ships, making them ready to fight and win. So celebrate today's occasion because it is certainly an achievement worth enjoying. And we know that happiness in life is about enjoying great experiences with those who you love and admire and with those who support you. And I challenge you to continue aggressively pursuing excellence by becoming a master craftsman of the highest order. You have certainly learned much over the course of the last year, but as the famous American journalist and author Thomas Friedman observed, quote, "The most enduring skill you can bring to the workplace is the ability to learn how to learn." So in closing, I would argue that your journey toward true mastery of your craft is where you will find genuine fulfillment and passion for your career. It starts today. All of the necessary ingredients are there, and your apprenticeship program has you off to a very fast start, imbuing you with a powerful combination of comprehensive knowledge and superior craftsmanship. You will work hard, no doubt, dedicated to a career that has real meaning to your family, to your community, to your Navy and nation, and to the world. After all, when you see your ships doing great things, like the Ford and Reagan out there right now, you will have the privilege of telling yourself and your loved ones, and everyone should listen to you, I did that. I helped make my country safe and secure today. I do it every day. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Admiral. That was amazing. So on the journey of the program, we started, I said, in 2021 in Philadelphia. At the end of that year, the clear decision was we needed to go to Pittsburgh, primarily because Pennsylvania is the #1 largest density of critical suppliers in the country. In January of that next year, one of our program reviews, I put on the table to Mr. Sermon is, I want to go home. And he said, what do you mean? So we want to go back to Hampton Roads. So I thought about that for a minute. There was a lot of other kind of conversation around that. The result of that was we can go to Hampton Roads as long as you build a partnership with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, who's doing so much work in this area. So created in partnership called the Local Partner Engagement Coordinator. And what Matt didn't know was that conversation with Sean Avery lasted about 5 minutes before Sean said he was all in. So for Mr. Avery, Whitney Lester sitting in the back, we were off here in Hampton Roads and ended up where we are today. So I couldn't be more proud to introduce my friend and now my partner, Sean Avery, the president of Hampton Roads Workforce Council.
Thank you, Joe. Just to clarify, it took me 5 minutes to say yes. It took you an hour and a half to talk about the program. So just to clarify that, okay? As Joe mentioned, I'm Sean Avery. I'm the president and CEO of the Hampton Roads Workforce Council. We are the regional organization that's charged with making sure we have the talent in the region to be successful. And one of those missions that we're involved in is making sure we have the industrial base and we have the skilled trades in the region and the talent to meet the needs of the Navy and their partners. And that's a tall task. And we take it very seriously. We know it's a national defense issue, and we know we can't do it alone. And so what we're doing now, and this program is a key part of that, is building an ecosystem to develop this workforce that's needed in this region. We know that we're going to need about 10,000, as you heard earlier, to meet the needs. And we know that's just growing. We have other industries that are going to be pulling from that industrial base, like the offshore wind industry and the infrastructure bridges that are coming online. We don't want there to be competition. So what we're doing with many of our educational partners that are on the stage is we're developing an ecosystem to continue to grow that workforce, to continue to grow the possibilities that are available. And you are part of that solution. You are part of that answer to meet the needs, and we appreciate that. Over the next few years, we'll be investing $20 million of our own money, but through Matt Sermon, who is very popular today, everybody really likes you, Matt, is investing money through the submarine industrial base for additional capacity building within our training system through New Horizons, Virginia Peninsula Community College, and many others to really start to grow this capacity. And so I tell you all that to let you know that you are part of that solution. Over the next 10 years, we're going to fill that 10,000. We are going to meet that demand here in Hampton Roads, and you, again, are part of that solution. And so, Joe, I appreciate you and your team being part of this ecosystem. Couldn't do it without you. You're one of the most successful programs, and we're going to model it and really grow it, and thank you for being part of that. The employers here, they are going to be the ones that are going to continue to help you grow in your opportunities. We don't do anything without our employer partners at the table, because they've got demand. And the last I will tell you is you've got job security now. You are in demand. You'll be able to do whatever you need to do. So stick with it. Continue to grow in your position. Look for opportunities to grow up and move up the pipeline. And again, congratulations on behalf of the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, and we look forward to continuing to see you be successful in your careers. So thank you, Joe.
The next part of this team is the employers. And the backstory on this was in 2018-19, Fred Pasquin is the president of Fairlead. We began a partnership with them to help them continuously improve their business to grow their capacity. And as part of that, we created these major initiatives, and one of those in 2019 was around the workforce. It's the major challenge in the American manufacturing sector today. And also in that meantime, we had begun the program in Philadelphia. So one day, when we were sitting in Fred's office and we were writing on the whiteboard that Fred has a really big whiteboard in his office, and he puts a lot of great ideas up on that whiteboard. He said, "So what are you doing up in Philly?" I said, "Well, we're helping employers to improve their talent acquisition and retention systems." And he looked at me and he says, "I want in." That generated a request to the PEO for strategic submarines, and they became a guest appearance in the Philadelphia program for the first year, and then became the founding partner here in Hampton Roads. So when you think about innovation and not settling for the status quo, I put at the top of that list Fairlead, and I'm really pleased to introduce my friend and a very successful business leader, Fred Pasquin.
Thanks for that kind introduction, Joe. Some of you may have heard that adage, everything you need to know you learned in kindergarten. I'm here to debunk that, because I can tell you, Dr. Shaw, who taught me thermodynamics, first day, he said, first law of thermodynamics, you're going to learn you can't win. Like, you can't take energy and make more energy from it. So you can't do that. He goes, and unfortunately, the second law you learn, you can't even break even. You can't, you're always going to have losses. So then I took a speech class, and I was told, make sure you show your hands and never give your back to someone. And I have to address three groups today. I have to address you, I have to address you, and I have to address you. So two of you are going to see my back at any given time of this, and I want to apologize. So you can't even break even. Tough crowd. I thought it was going to work, didn't work. Okay, so here we go. First, I want to say to Mr. Sermon and Command Master Chief Sturgill, thank you Thanks for putting your confidence in the supply chain. Thanks for our company, for Fairlead especially. We committed to you. We're not going to let you down. We're by that. We're not going to let it down. To the Admiral's words earlier, the fight begins right now. Like we have to start doing this right now. So thank you for that. To the employers, we are the veterans here in Hampton Roads. We've been doing this for 2 years now. And what I shared with Joe Bardo was this process changes and disrupts how we look at talent. It disrupts it in all aspects. And the two pieces for us that we learned the most from was we don't want any process sludge in anything that we do at Fairlead. In other words, we want things to flow easily, and you don't want to be walking through what feels like sludge to get anything done. Just want it to work like a well-oiled machine, except our recruiting process. We want it to be hard because we want it to be a little bit laborious. We want it to be multiple steps because we want to find out who really wants to come work for us. And I find it amazing when we start looking at all the data that if we have 1,500, 1,600 applicants last year, they had to watch a 15-minute video before they moved to the next step. And only about half of those 1,600, about 800, moved on to the next step after watching a 15-minute video. And we look at that and say, well, that's terrible. And I look at that and say, no, that's great. Because that already didn't cost us anything. It cost us to host that video on a server, but already we know here's half of the talent pool who doesn't want to come be part of our business. And that to me, that's a huge success. But that process of making it a little more difficult, it helps us start hiring for culture versus skill set. And that has really helped us over the past 2 years, because what I shared with Joe was, yes, unfortunately, a little more than half of the people we recruited last year are still with us. But the team last year outperformed the team the year before. And we can say outperformed in every way. The amount of product we delivered, the amount of revenue we generated, the amount of profit that we realized, everything went up with about the same size team. And so now we're in our next phase of growth where we need several more people, and we trust the process, we trust the region, and we know we have a process that's going to work. So I just encourage all of you who are in the midst of any change management, you go through this valley where I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm here to tell you it's a good idea, and these four gentlemen who we'll get to introduce will demonstrate that. And then to all of you new hires in this industry, I have a core group of friends from high school that I get together with each year in Maine, from northern Maine, and every year we get together in southern Maine, 9 of us, and we've been doing it for the past 10 years, and you start talking about everything you do, and some of the guys are in software, and one gentleman sells insurance, 2 of them sell insurance and everything, and I get to go in there and say, yeah, that's neat, but we build large sections of submarines and aircraft carriers, and we put electrical, mechanical equipment on submarines and aircraft carriers, and we fix every ship class in Hampton Roads. And you're like, yeah, well, that sounds a lot better than selling insurance. Because it is. It's more important, and it's okay in our culture to say something's more important than something else. And the fact we're doing this today to honor the importance of all of you who bring your hands and your minds to work every day to help the Navy get the products to who needs it, the warfighter, and get them back home safely, it's important. It's really important. And I would just encourage you, it's about to get hot in Hampton Roads. There's going to be some days you're going to be working outside asking, why am I doing this? And that's why you're doing it, because it is that important. And it's why everyone in this room took some time out of their Saturday this morning to tell you, thank you for what you're doing. Keep doing it. Stay connected to that why. The why is we keep the Navy going, and what we do and it's critically important to our way of life. So thanks for what you're doing.
The next representative of the team is the HR managers, the human resources folks who actually are part of this recruiting and hiring process. So our keynote speaker here in a minute is actually one of our new hires for this year. But when we were thinking about how to replicate or give the feeling for what that looks like, we've asked Mary Mayer, who is the HR manager at EdVex, to introduce her new hire, because you start that relationship with the first time you meet them. And when that is a good start, as Fred mentioned, that begins this commitment to the why and why this thing is so important. So to introduce our true keynote speaker, Cassandra Blythe, I'd like to bring to the podium Mary Mayer, the Human Resource Manager at the EdVex Corporation. So Mary.
Thank you. I barely need a microphone, so if I wander, you'll still be able to hear me. Thanks to the Navy, thanks to TMG for selecting EdVex as their best practice model this year. And I'll tell you, that was money well spent, brother. Money well spent. We met the next speaker at a job fair we attended for graduating welding students. And much as we've learned from Joe, it's about the fit, not necessarily the skill that you're going to look at right away. So we met our next speaker that day. She toured our company, and I just knew immediately it was a fit. You know, having been in human resources for 40 freaking years, you get a gut feeling. And that gut feeling was good when I met her. And she's got a good story to tell, and I don't want to tell much of it because she has a powerful story for you. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for EdVex's own Cassandra Blythe.
Good morning and welcome, family, friends, and dignitaries. Thank you for having me. As Ms. Mary said, my name is Cassandra Blythe, and I would like to give a special thanks to TMG and the Department of the Navy for this opportunity. This morning, I wanted to share a bit of my story and how I came to this point in my life. In 2018, my life was going pretty good. I was content. I had resigned my position as a teacher assistant for 10 years to help my husband build his trucking company. We have 4 sons, 1 daughter, and had just become grandparents. A year later, my family experienced several dramatic events. My husband was murdered. My youngest son suffered a severe mental illness, and then the pandemic happened. Things became very stressful very quickly. I was mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, and in financial distress. My children and I sought healing and counseling through God and therapy. It was time to embrace a new normal. I saw a commercial promoting the Virginia G3 tuition assistance program and decided to investigate it further. This was perfect because I did not have time to attend a 4-year program, nor did I have the funds. I needed to learn a trade so I can start earning and providing for my family. I chose the Certified Welding Program at Virginia Peninsula Community College. It was drastically different from what I was used to, but it wasn't totally unfamiliar. My 2 grown sons both have careers in welding for the defense industry. They offered support and dared me to give it a try. Everyone at VPCC was extremely helpful, from the front desk staff who walked me to class the first day, especially my instructors, Mr. Earl Williams and Mr. Desi Bailey. They explained in detail and demonstrated every weld process. I learned how to configure the Lincoln Electric welding machine and to troubleshoot and resolve problems. Every exam was challenging and sometimes frustrating, but I never gave up. Mr. Williams and Mr. Bailey always offered encouragement and suggestions on how I can become better. One thing I will always remember was the ABCs. Always be comfortable. They believe that if you are not comfortable, it would be impossible to weld at a steady flow. Throughout my academic career, I've learned to place the utmost importance on safety. On November 16th last year, the Virginia Talent Pipeline Project hosted a career discovery event with VPCC as the host location to include a welding competition with Project MFG. I visited several employer tables, but for some reason, ADVAC stood out. I met Mary and Byron, who told me they were doing a tour of their facility, which piqued my interest. During the tour, everyone was pleasant and smiling. I even met the president, Mr. Jackson, who shook my hand. Several employees spoke to me about their experiences, and I heard longevity, growth, care, community, and pride. It felt like home, a place I could see myself. It didn't hurt that ADVAC was less than 20 minutes away from my home. I emailed Mary less than a week later to express my interest, even though my projected graduation date wasn't until March 9, 2023. I was excited to hear back from Mary right away, and we sat down and met and discussed benefits. ADVAC had decided to take a chance on me, and I started part-time on February the 27th. Immediately, they paired me with Kevin Humphrey, ADVAC's welding supervisor. He became and still is an amazing mentor and teacher. He is patient, knowledgeable, and gives constructive feedback. He's willing to help me with everything from finding the proper voltage and wire speed for my welding machine to how to properly field and clean a rat hole. Since becoming a full-time employee at ADVAC, I've been given the opportunity to master every weld process and advance my skills and pay. My coworkers are helpful and a joy to be around. I love how our day starts. It starts with a safety meeting by our manager, Ken Smoker. He then addresses every concern or issues and answers any questions that the group may have. This is followed by a warm-up stretch, and then we start our day. So far, I'm enjoying the peace that comes along with welding. I like how nothing else matters in that moment, and knowing I have a hand in helping our United States Navy and being a part of the defense industry base. I love the challenge of becoming a master craftsman, one day, one bead at a time. These days, when me and my children get together, we talk in depth about welding. Apparently, it must have rubbed off because my daughter, who is here with me today, applied for and was accepted for the welding program at New Horizons in Hampton for the 2023-2024 school year. I hope to encourage women of all ages and inspire girls to seek a trade that is rewarding and fulfilling. Ladies, you are important, and what you choose does matter. In this journey called life, we will have trials and tribulations and even fall down. But girl, get up and keep going. Thank you.
Thank Charlie. Mary, Cassandra, congratulations. We have a saying in the program is the first thing a leadership has to do is describe what right looks like. I think we've just described that, the whole process. So thanks, powerful. So now we're into the main part of the program. I'd like to introduce my co-master of ceremonies, who's going to help us through the rest of this program, Amanda Slauson. So Amanda, if you would come to your position as my able assistant and co-presenter. First, we always know that all the HR folks, and well, all of us, That's usually know in the first 5 or 6 minutes, as Mary did, that she had somebody that she liked. First met Amanda, it took about 3 seconds to figure out that being a Navy veteran, and also she got it immediately, which is one of the most powerful things of this program, is it takes about 3 minutes to explain it, and you either get it or you don't. And she was right there from the beginning. So, Amanda, it's yours. Take it from here.
Perfect. Well, I don't know how I followed that right there. That was great. Welcome, and thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here today. I stand before you guys representing the Hampton Roads Workforce Council as the Partner Engagement Coordinator for this amazing Virginia Talent Pipeline program. I'm happy to be here today. It's Saturday morning, right? It's beautiful. We finally don't have a rainy day, right? Right? We're celebrating all of our partners in the room, all of our new hires. We're celebrating our special guests and our future new hires, like the individual sitting in the front of the room. So thank you guys for all coming out today. With that said, what I want to do is let's recognize our training provider partners for today. And for those that are here, when I call your name, please stand and stay standing, and then we're going to give you guys all a round of applause at the end. So our training provider partners for this program is the Virginia Beach City Public Schools, the Academies of Hampton, New Horizons Regional Education Center, represented by Casey Roberts. We have ATDM, represented by Todd Yates, Chesapeake City Schools, Tidewater Community College, represented by Laura Hanson, the Norfolk Technical Center, Tidewater Tech, Centura College, Aviation Institute for Maintenance, and Camp Community College. Please, let's give a round of applause for our training provider partners. I have to pause. There's one that wasn't on my list, in Virginia Peninsula Community College, represented by my friend Todd Estes. Thank you. Next up, we want to recognize our facilitator partners. Same thing goes, if you're here in the room today, please stand, and then remain standing so we can all give you guys a round of applause. We have Huntington Ingalls Industries, Newport News Shipyard, Submarine Industrial Base Council, Patricia Hertzkowitz, Hampton Roads Workforce Council, Sean Avery, and my colleague, Whitney Lester and Jackie Rondo. I want you guys to stand up as well so the room can see you. Naval Submarine League, Dave Duffier. We have Skills USA, the Urban League of Hampton Roads, represented today by Patricia Gibson, and I have to recognize a friend as well, Tish James. Please stand up. Virginia Manufacturing Association, Aircraft Carrier Industrial Base Coalition, Marine Machinery Association, General Dynamics Electric Boat, ODU Maritime Initiatives, Shipbuilders Council of America, Junior Achievement of Greater Hampton Roads, and the Virginia Values Veterans Program. Please join me in giving applause for all of our facilitator partners.
So now for the main event. So the first, as I mentioned earlier, Fairlead was a part of the program in the Philly region. And so a year from now, we'll all be back here again to recognize the first year anniversary. That's the true graduating class, is these new hires that passed their first year anniversary. So our tradition is, since Fred is here and he's going to be announcing his first, each of the new hires that reach their first year anniversary is going to get a pen, talk about first year anniversary, for their protective gear, their on their thing, and a sticker for their helmets, for their hard hats. So first one we're going to introduce is Fred Pasquin as the founding member of the organization as an employer, and he's going to introduce his first year anniversary. So Amanda, you got it from here? Fred? Back to the podium.
Thank you, Joe. I didn't know till this morning I was going to speak twice, and I was saying, Joe, why do you want me to speak again? And so it's good though, because last night I was talking to my wife and one of my friends who I go to Maine with. He's in Maine visiting right now with his wife, and they go, "So do you write a speech?" I go, "No, I don't like doing that. I just like getting up and talking." And they go, "Well, are you ever nervous about doing that?" I said, I mean, yeah, it could go really badly, but they keep inviting me back, so I'm just going to stick with what I know. And so with that, I did, when I first spoke, you know, it's to all the friends and family who are here. What a great showing. Thanks for coming out and supporting these new hires in this industry. And so our 4 honorees are going to be recognized here in a moment. So I just wanted to also tell you about some of our leaders who are here. First is Mr. Hal Barge. He leads our systems division that puts equipment on submarines and aircraft carriers. And then Sharon Lewis, who leads our HR department. And Sharon, I've been wanting to do this forever. See, Hal bought me a bottle of whiskey for Christmas. Sharon bought me socks. And you know, I wear these socks, so I'm actually wearing the socks today, okay? You know, they're nice. And I always felt weird taking a picture and sending them to Sharon, like, "Hey, thanks for the socks." There's just something that didn't feel right, so I figured I'd get up in front of 100 people and do it. So thank you. And then Nate, who director of our manufacturing for systems, and then Todd Babcock, who leads our business development and shared services, and then Dave Dupier back here, who also works for Fairlead. You saw him up there for the Submarine League, but is a director of quality, and then Mike Ford, who's here, who is our vice president for ship repair. So thanks for being here today. So these 4 gentlemen are about to get introduced, and I just want to say to you, thanks for giving us a chance. On our first day, we said, hey, we're all about playing offense, employee and customer success, and together is better. And thank you for giving us that chance to demonstrate that. We want this to be the last place you ever work, and thank you for that. So with that, Amanda.
Perfect. Yeah, and as we said, Fairlead has been in this program. They've reached that 1-year milestone. The individuals, the training provider partners that they worked with for that first year were ATDM, Tidewater Community College. So here with us today, representing the 17 new hires in their first year that have been retained, is 2 individuals that I want to highlight for you. So please welcome to the stage Vincent Ravello. And I'm going to ask you guys hold your applause. Once everyone's come up and we take a group picture, we'll applause everyone that's come up with an organization. Charles Privetti. All right, so Fairlead is also participating in the program again this year here in Hampton Roads. The training provider partner that they were connected to here in Hampton Roads this year was Tidewater Community College. So they've had 19 new hires this year. That's pretty huge, right? You can see all those names on the boards behind you from last year and this year. Be here with us today. I want to introduce Corbin Kirk. Neil Bendig. And actually, while they're getting ready for a picture, let's give a round of applause to Fairlead and all the new hires. Our next employer to come to the podium is Advex Corporation, represented by President and CEO Charlie Jackson.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Some great speakers today, and unfortunately, you're going to see the worst speaker right now. This is just not within my comfort zone, but I am pleased to be here, specifically for all the new hires. Cassandra, great job. Anyhow, thank you for the introduction. I'm pleased to be here this morning to share our company's experience with the Virginia Talent Pipeline Project. I would like to take a moment to recognize several people that are instrumental in supporting us from TMG. Joe, thank you so much. Eli, thank you, Renee, and Kevin. And there's many more. Of course, Advex would not have been successful without the support and determination of my team. So a very special thanks to our Human Resources Manager, Mary Mayer. Everybody's impressed with Mary. And I can't go without saying this, he's kind of hiding in the back, our manufacturing manager, Richard Talley. Richard, you can wave, yeah, you're trying to hide. I understand. I told him earlier, promise not to kick the camera over. Since the beginning of 2023, Advex has onboarded 12 new employees, several that are with us today. And we're very proud of that accomplishment. This was possible with the support of our training providers, specifically Virginia Peninsula Community College and Tidewater Technical College. Advex found success in our hiring efforts by utilizing the following tools. Our realistic job preview was very good for us, and that was helped developed by TMG. It was really great. Employee referrals has been a real good way for us to do that. So you guys, you know, you're happy, please tell others. Our company website has been good. Mary maintains that. She's got a huge role. She didn't say it, but she's also our facility safety officer. So that's a big role as well. Our company website is she maintains very well. Social media, job fairs, and of course, we utilize recruiters as well. The Virginia Talent Pipeline Project helped Advex in several ways, but I have three really key areas, and it's kind of funny, Fred, you touched on one that was very important. And it was by changing our hiring practices to look at personnel who are not only the best fit for Advex, but also the best fit for the individual employees. Because when you're employed, you must be happy with what you're doing and satisfied. And recognizing that, rather than just trying to onboard everybody, is really important. We realized that that was the key to employment longevity. Another one was understanding the individual's employee's desired career path and making that available to them and helping develop that career path. The last most important thing was proper and consistent engagement with the employees after the hiring process. The follow-up. The follow-up is very important. And that way we can ensure both Advex and the new employees' expectations are being met. I encourage everyone who is participating in this program to look at what has not been working for you. That's what we did. And consider what you need to do to improve your hiring and retention practices. The program will help you identify what changes you should consider, and it will help you with your course correction to improve your hiring and retention of employees. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now of those new hires here with us today, please welcome Cassandra Blythe. Cheyenne Gardner, William Moore, Montrell Boone, and Eric Campbell. One final round of applause for all the Advex new hires. I feel like I'm in a sports event. I love the hats. Thanks, guys. All right, the next employer up to the podium is QED Systems, represented by the Director of Production, Kenneth Sigmund.
Good morning, everyone. Representing QED Systems, which has been in business for 53 years, a family-owned company, 750 people, defense contracting, we support the Navy 99.73%, and we do a little bit of other work. And 47% of our company are veterans throughout the service. I myself retired from the Navy, as well as my father and my son, so we have quite a history, and I'm proud to be up here representing QED Systems. One of the things we talk about, it's wonderful that the new hires are here. Unfortunately, the ones that we wanted to bring today are working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day on the 3 aircraft carriers right now. So that kind of amplifies why we're all here trying to make this program work better and better. But one of the things I do want to point out, when you hear about TMG and they're doing this program and they're helping this, to give you a better feel for what it's done for our company, QED. They talk about the Philadelphia program. One of our big offices was in Philadelphia. They started off up there, and before it came to Tidewater, I started to see what the program was doing. And the program was big, and I could see it was going to be a lot of work. What happened was, we had every director kind of running their own hiring section in the company, and that wasn't very efficient. TMG came aboard with this program and showed how it all had to be one process, and we started putting that process together. We had people come and show what our hiring process was. We got together 4 people that knew what it was. We got in a room, and there's a little bit of difference what the 4 people thought the hiring process was. So we got it mapped out, and after about an hour, we found out really what our hiring process was, and we now know exactly how we do that. We learned about pipelines. Where do you get people? I never knew what a pipeline was, but now I realize we have a lot of pipelines that we can go to, from colleges, from the Navy, the Veterans Center. There's many, many pipelines that we now look at to try to get new hires. They also helped us with the different things that's been pointed out that you can put on the internet to help screen people to come to the company. So it's really changed how QED Systems process in hiring new people has happened. And we're very thankful for the founders of the program and for TMG and all the hard work they've done for us. And we've done hard work to keep up with them because they keep a lot of things moving, and we appreciate it. So I hope I just gave you a little feeling of what TMG has done to really help QED Systems, and we do appreciate it. Amanda, although our people are not here today, I would like to have a relatively new hire. Heather Tate is 1 year and just a couple weeks. She is a driving force to helping the Virginia Talent Pipeline Program within QED and a driving force in corporate planning. If you would, Heather Tate, please.
Round of applause for QED, Heather, and all the other new hires. All right, the next employer to join me on the podium is Kalana Shipyard, Steel America and Weld America, represented by the VP of Strategic Growth and Development, Bob Boyd.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm reasonably certain of one thing. No one got up this morning and had any anticipation of hearing me say anything. So, in the spirit of brevity, I'm going to keep it very brief. First and foremost, we're very appreciative of the opportunity to be involved in this important strategic initiative. It is incredibly important. We at Kalana's are, of course, not immune from the challenges described by Joe and by Admiral Caudle and our other speakers here this morning. So we need to be doing everything we possibly can to continue to make sure we have the right people in the right place with the right skills to meet the needs of our customers and most importantly, the U.S. Navy. So we're really happy to do that. Special thanks to Kevin Bardo and to Renee and to Eli for their professional nudging us along, which was necessary but very much appreciated. Across the three divisions that Amanda mentioned, we had a demand signal of 110 people. Happy to report that we were able to acquire 41 new employees. And much like the QED folks, they're all hard at work responding to the needs of our customers today. But in terms of the types of things we focused on, retention is our biggest challenge, just like I think most everyone else. We did a lot of rework and revamping of our orientation and onboarding processes. We've instituted 30, 60, and 90-day new employee survey processes and engagement. We try to meet with them 3 times in the first 90 days to make sure that we're providing the leadership and the mentoring that we had promised. And where we're not, we're making corrective actions. So, because we realize we owe it to these folks. We've tried our best to make a positive first impression, but that won't last very long if we don't adhere to our promises. So we also reinstituted and revamped and made our employee referral program much more lucrative. So we found that when we did that, we got a lot more referrals and we got a lot more new employees. So we will continue on this fight. It is not over. We still have a lot of work to do, but I appreciate the opportunity to be involved. Very much want to thank and appreciate the new hires, and we wish you the best of luck in your new careers. Thank you very much.
And I would also like to highlight that the training provider partners to Kalana Shipyard, Steel America, and Weld America were ATDM, Tidewater Community College, Tidewater Tech, and the Virginia Beach Technical Center. So, next to join me on the podium is Kitco Fiber Optics, represented by the plant manager, Kevin Marcondes.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today and celebrating this with us. You know, to properly support the Navy, we must maintain acceptable levels of quality, cost, and delivery. And that's really where the Virginia Talent Pipeline Program has helped us out. Our ability to maintain these levels really depends on our people, and that's where we put our value. We've got to maintain a skilled and stable workforce. The Virginia Talent Pipeline Program has facilitated this with us by helping us to create an environment where people are informed, involved, and inspired, where they want to be with us, to work with us, and they want to stay with us for the long term. And our hope is that next year we'll be back here talking about how these folks that we've brought on this year have celebrated their 1-year anniversary with us. So this year we had 7 new hires. 2 of them were here with us today. And thank you all again. And again, we look forward to being back here next year.
Thank you. All right. Please, let's welcome to the stage Chell Granlund. And Wayne Silver. All right, Kitco and all you new hires, congratulations. Our next employer is Defense Maritime Systems, represented by Senior Director of Operations, Jeff Yeager.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to point out there was a lot of great speeches today, and in my call to prep for this, it was oversold to me to stick to the script, so which proves I'm actually the worst speaker here. So we have 3 facilities, one here in Chesapeake, one in Poulsbo, Washington, and one in Chula Vista, San Diego. And to echo a lot of what we've heard today, recruitment, and probably more specifically retention, has been a challenge for us over the last several years. And without this program, it would be an even larger challenge, so we're thankful for it and very thankful to be partners with it. There's one member of my leadership team here I'd like to identify who's sitting in the back here. Justin Cockrell is one of our lead technicians who is more or less the guy who runs this program for us in our facility, so thank you, Justin, for being here. Similar to what a lot of everyone said, we have a heavy veteran preference in our company. I'm a retired Marine, so for those who know, that means that I wrote this speech in crayon, for anybody who gets that joke. So we had 7 hires out of this program this year, and we're thrilled to have 2 of them here with us today. So thanks everyone for being here, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Before I call the new hires up, I did want to say that the training provider partner for this program was Chesapeake Public Schools. But now let's welcome to the stage Daniel Newbern. And Brad Dean. All right, DMS and the new hires, congratulations. Next to join me is ITAC, represented by Senior Vice President Rick Starnes.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today, and congratulations to the graduates, those that put the programs together, taught these young men and women skills that are very, very much in need. And I want to tell you a little bit about a journey that all of you are embarking on, a journey in your career, and believe me, it is a journey. Your decisions that you make, have made, are making, and will continue to make will determine your career, your path, and to whatever levels you aspire to get to. I'm a Navy veteran myself, so I'm very proud to be standing up here. But my journey didn't start in the Navy. I've been with ITAC for 35 years. We build plants, industrial turnaround corporation. That's what ITAC stands for. We build industrial complexes. We also work on military contracts. So that's a very large percentage of what we do. 500 employees in 6 locations, and engineers, designers, welders, pipe fitters, electricians, instrument technicians. We need all of them. We need hundreds more. But my journey started 55 years ago, sitting in a similar seat to what you folks are sitting in out here today. I was an electrician apprentice in a high school, and yeah, in 1968, it was a few years ago. Not knowing what I wanted to do in life and where life was going to take me, but I did make the decision that you all made. You got to start. You have to start somewhere. And from there, I joined the Navy, aviation electrician in the Navy, worked on aircraft systems. Decided after I grew up in the Navy, maybe I do need to go to college. So I got a degree in electrical engineering from the University of South Carolina. And I wasn't a computer programmer. I was more focused on power and power distributions. So I joined a company that put me in a position to understand skills, needs, troubleshooting. Most of the troubleshooting that I learned in the Navy. It is incredible opportunities. So you're getting those opportunities. So we started ITAC back in 1988. I was the first employee of ITAC in 1988, and they still can't get rid of me. So you don't know where your journey is going to take you, but it will take you further than the seat that you're sitting in today. Always do the best job you can every day. The employers sitting on this stage up here, we need you. We say our most valuable asset as a company, as a business owner, is our employees. So we need you, we need to develop you, but you play a major role in your own personal development and the decisions that you make day in and day out. So I congratulate you on your decision to get into this program. Tell your friends, tell your siblings about programs, tell them about your experiences in this program, and congratulations to each of you. We have 11 employees that we, ITAC, have hired through this program since the first of this year. 4 of those are represented here today, and I'm going to go back over here and congratulate them and welcome them to ITAC. So thank you very much. Thank you to the Navy, and thank you for this talent program.
Yeah, and the training provider partner who served as a core talent pipeline for this organization was New Horizons Regional Education Center. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Colin Judge, Isaac Weinzapel, Blake Roten, and Ella Johnson. ITAC and all the new hires, congratulations. So next to join me at the podium is IMIA, represented by Chief of Staff Robert Richards.
Wow, so I joined the Navy 40 years ago. I was a high school dropout, and when I first joined the Navy, I was met with programs just like this. And here I am today. What's really ironic, or telling me I'm in the right place, is my military retirement ceremony took place. I believe those doors open. I retired from the Navy in what I think is the exact same room we're standing in. That's just crazy. So, the water bottle, sorry. I work at IMIA, and we had our leadership conference in February with about 75 leaders, and the entire theme on top of business and operations was the power of connection. The power of connection with the workforce. I have connection to family, friends, golf buddies, organizations, but when I turn to my workplace, I can probably tell you I have so many connections in the workplace. So many, and the powerful feeling of connection that I have and that I want to promote. Leaders, subordinates, everybody. I'm going to shift to my point about what TMG did. TMG was able to do the value mapping with us and say, you might have some opportunity for improvement with how you're initially creating that power of connection with your new hire. You might have opportunity. That's what the team against the wall really helped us look at fiercely and say, let's make the improvement. The hire for fit and not skill is what I did, what we did. And John Miller, he's a perfect fit. His was in his first 30 days, right? And I'm about to say this. He has no maritime shipyard experience at all. And I am committed that a year from now we'll be back and he will have 1 year of shipyard experience. He is a professional and has tremendous experience, which is why he's a perfect fit. This culture and this idea of the power of connection and hiring for fit. And I had another point about the power of connection that Mr. Joe and the Admiral, great conversation today, but Mr. Joe today said, you know, we knew we have employers, we knew we have educational partners, and we are going to create that connection. He called it the tissue between the group this morning, I think, that connection. So the power of connection that Joe and the TMG group and the entire program has built and created is, you know, I'm all in with that. It was the whole theme of the leadership conference. It's crazy that I'm standing in this room, and I promise I could pull up pictures on my phone that show the people walking out of here at my military. So I feel right at home here. So thank you.
Let's welcome to the stage John Miller. IMIA and John, congratulations. The next employer that gets to join me up here on the stage is Oceaneering, represented by Apprentice Program Manager Guy St. John.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We're going to celebrate someone who isn't here with us today, not yet. This week we had an intent to hire conversation with a young machinist who's soon to be graduating from a machining program at ATDM, the Institute for Advanced Technology and Defense Manufacturing out of Danville, Virginia. He is also a drilling lance corporal in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. His gunnery sergeant would not let him out of drill to be here today. That's as it should be. So in this world of working with TMG and working with the Navy and Talent Pipeline, there are people that go to meetings and there are people that do the heavy lift. I'm one of the guys that goes to meetings. The person that does the heavy lift for Oceaneering International Marine Services Division is our recruiter, Takesha Barber, and she's here with us today. So what I'd like to do is flip the script just a little bit, and if we could get Takesha to come up and be on the stage and bring the t-shirt with you, excellent, and the lanyard and the little bag thing. And if we could get Mr. Yates from ATDM to come up. And that's what I'd like to have as a picture. So we're going to give Mr. Yates the bag, the lanyard, and the t-shirt to give to Mr. Stewart with the intent to hire to come join Oceaneering as an inside machinist in our apprentice program when he graduates in June. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, and as you guys can see on the screen behind you, Oceaneering had 41 new hires this year.
How's my hair?
Congratulations to Oceaneering and all the new hires. All right, next up on the podium is Collins Machine Works, represented by President Robert Twine.
Well, good morning. How's everybody doing today? So by now, all these gentlemen have stole everything I wanted to say. But this is very enlightening for me. I started off my career sweeping the floor of a machine shop. And to see what's happening through the years, things have changed an awful lot. So I work at a company called Collins Machine Works. We're located in 3 different locations. We have factories in Portsmouth, Virginia, 2 factories, and in Charleston, South Carolina. We have 250,000 square feet, or 250,000 square feet of machine shop under roof, which is a pretty good sized machining operation. But the key component, you can have all the machines in the world, but the key component are people. Trained, skilled people that are dedicated to the common cause. And it's been interesting to listen to the comments that people make up here and have made today, but that's what it takes to make it work. And when you younger people, as you get started in the career, you never know where you're going to end up. But the important thing is you find your passion. Because if you find your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. You're doing what you want to do, what you love to do every single day. And we're blessed with that. So when we look across the board, the first thing that's tough to do is select the right people to put them on your bus. If you pick the right people, your job becomes easy. And if the right people pick you, it becomes even more easy. So as you travel along that path, and let's say if a person comes into your organization with a skill level of like a 1, as a management team, your ultimate goal is to take that person from a skill level of 1 as high as you can get them, as fast as you can get them. But you can't do that without measuring. You have to have a measurement tool to actually figure out where that person is going and how far they've progressed. So what we've been able to do successfully is reach out and find tools to actually measure those employees when they come into our organization. So right now we have 1,100 measurement tools that we use in our skill level sets that we use for measuring people when they come in. And that seems to be working very well for us, and it does help provide a path for people to go along as they move. But again, you know, I could sit here and talk for hours about stuff that we manufacture. We do manufacture parts as small as a watch stem and as large as a main propulsion shaft that goes in a Navy ship. We build the most complex shafts, marine shafts that go in any ship. The Virginia-class submarine shafts that we manufacture in our Charleston facility are the most complex in the Navy. We build every class of ship shaft that there is that the Navy owns right now. But again, you couldn't do it without people. And that's where it starts and that's where it stops. So as I stand here right now, if I make it to the 17th of June this month, I would have been doing this 52 years. Not one day have I ever been bored. And hopefully you'll find your passion, and that's what I want to bid you good luck on. So with that, Fred, you stole all my good lines today. Thank you very much. But anyway, it's been a pleasure speaking to you folks today.
And as you can see on the screen behind you, Collins Machine Works had over 20 new hires this year, and they utilize Chesapeake Public Schools as their training provider partner. Congratulations. Our next employer is Trident Maritime, Hampton Machine Shop, represented by VP of Nuclear Ship Strategies, John Roros.
Thank you. Hey, I promised Matt Sermon I'd keep this short. Matt and I have worked together for about 30 years, and he wants to get back to the Chesapeake to go boating, so we'll keep this. He has a 5 o'clock reservation. Hey, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'm proud to be here, but I got to tell you, what you guys are about to embark on is very important, and as Matt said, the Admiral said, we are at a point in our history that's critical. And at the end of the day, everything that we do, we can't do it without you guys. You guys are the linchpin to our success and to the nation's success. We have our sailors out there on the ships, but without you guys, we don't have ships, right? So you are at the pointy end of the spear, and we need you. And standing here today and seeing how many people are going back into this industry really makes me proud. And I feel hopeful that we're going to win this fight. So, hey, thank you, and encourage more people to join. This is a great job.
Trident Maritime had 11 new hires this year, and today we want to welcome here with us Casimir Smith. Congratulations to Trident Maritime and their new hires. All right. Please welcome to the podium Mistress, represented by VP of Strategic Sales, Labor Relations, Nick Soa.
Good morning. Congratulations to all the new hires. Thank you very much to the Navy and all the dignitaries here. Mistras performs non-destructive testing services, and I'll pause to see all the recognition for non-destructive testing in the room. It's a pretty well-kept secret. But what we do is we inspect parts without breaking them. So we use some common techniques like radiography, ultrasonic inspection, and other techniques to be able to inspect that part without breaking it. Very critical to many industries. We perform work in major industries like oil, gas, petrochemical, power, space and aerospace, and defense. In each of these industries, I'm privileged enough to go to some conferences where there's some high-level discussions. And in each conference, there's at least one session regarding an aging workforce. Every industry has problems with finding young talent, which we have here in the room today. And I especially applaud TMG and the Navy for this outstanding effort, because it's exactly what industry needs, what the country needs, and we all win from this. The candidates here, the new hires, win an opportunity for a career and a good paying job. The employers, you're our future. You know, I'm at the end of my career. We need new blood in our industry and all industries to continue to have the success that we all enjoy in this country. So again, congratulations to the new hires. One quick little story about what do you do from here? Because this is just the start, right? We all said it in different ways up here, but I think as you embark in your career, listen, learn, work, and find people that are successful and pattern yourself after them. Without getting too personal, my son, and hopefully this resonates a bit with all of you, the new hires, wasn't really sure if he was a college candidate, but he was an athlete, and he struggled, and he wasn't going to make it in college, and he wanted to play sports at a high level. So my wife and I decided to transfer him to a school where he got his feet back on the ground, still performed very well athletically, and luckily one day he was set to go to University of Connecticut as a walk-on football candidate, and they brought in a guest speaker by the name of Chris Herron. I don't know if any of you know who Chris Herron is, but there's an ESPN 30 for 30 on him, an hour-long documentary. Chris Herron was an outstanding basketball player out of South Boston. Got a scholarship to go to Boston College, became an instant star. Unfortunately, Chris Herron had a big secret. He was a drug addict, but it didn't stop him from performing well in basketball. Unfortunately, it got him in trouble. He got kicked out of Boston College, tried to get his life back together. He was taken by University of Nevada, Las Vegas, given a second chance. He was clean for a little bit, but still performed way beyond expectations on the court, but began going right back to his bad habits. In fact, playing several games under the influence, and yet he still was able to hide this problem. The NBA drafted him in the first round. He went to the Denver Nuggets. So he tells this story to all these students, and he says, look, when he got to the Nuggets, 2 leaders on the team grabbed him and said, we know your story. We know what you do. It's not going to happen here. You're going to eat every dinner with us. We're going to keep an eye on you. We're going to mentor you. He performed out of this world with the Nuggets for 2 years. So much so that the Boston Celtics, the team he grew up rooting for, that he loved, traded for him. What happened? He went right back to it. I'll let you watch the documentary. It's really interesting. But it was a 5-year spiral. He finally came out of it, and now he runs wellness centers in the Boston area. He's been sober for 15 years. So after he got done speaking, my son went up to him and said, it's going to be a tough journey. Do you have any advice for me? He said, yeah. Go find the winners on the team, hang around with them, try to outwork them. Do everything they do and try to do it better. It worked. He earned a scholarship. He got that taken from him by a new coach, earned another scholarship at a junior college and another scholarship at Kansas State. It worked. And now he's that mentor. He works with the younger kids at Kansas State. He's been out for a year and a half now, and he still has group texts with them. So my advice to you is this is the beginning. You've already taken that step. You've already found some guidance and some direction. Now look at the older folks that you're going to work with and learn from them. Again, they call each other beasts at Canada State. These are the kids that work hard. They're all beasts. Be a beast. Outwork that veteran. Show the willingness and the aptitude to come to work with a great attitude every day. And the negative people, leave them alone. Unless they come to you looking for mentorship, then you can become the next mentor. Congratulations, this is a huge step in your life, and I'm so happy and privileged to be here. Thank you.
And Mistress had 4 new hires this year, and they utilized ATDM as a training provider partner. Congratulations. Going back to the hard copy again. Next to join me on the podium is Dante Valve, represented by Director of Human Resources, Sasha Chandler.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sasha Chandler, and thank you for the TMG team for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. I also want to recognize my colleague, Donnice Johnson. She has been an absolute consummate professional working in the HR department, and I just want to say thank you to you as well. I've been doing HR for 22 years, and one thing I can tell you is that it's all about mastering the transition. As a Marine veteran, I know very clearly how difficult and how easy that sounds, but I believe life is a series of transitions, and as you begin to navigate your young careers into the new companies that you just started, it's important to understand that as you go through that and meet new people, learn new things, there's going to be those series of transitions in your life, and that goes out to everybody. So that's kind of my 2 cents to you, and as you go forward, just make sure you're always aware of the transitions in your life going forward. We have 4 new hires to introduce today, 3 of which are here today. And the one thing that we picked up from TNG is just kind of learning how to learn, so to speak, using a lot of the tools and concepts that we weren't aware of before in the past, specifically the value stream mapping and the realistic job preview. That's done wonders for us, so we're definitely looking forward to doing that. We've been part of the program for about 6 months now, so we really haven't had an opportunity to kind of get our feet wet with some of the training partners, but we're getting there. So these gentlemen here that we're going to introduce today, we found kind of on our own, but as we go forward, we definitely expect big things from our organization. Donnice and myself, we manage HR, and we hire quality, so being in the Marine Corps for a number of years, it's always been about quantity, plussing up your numbers. I'm sure some of you can understand that dilemma, making that decision between the numbers and quality folks. So I can assure you that these 3 gentlemen today are quality folks, and it's a pleasure to have you on board here. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's please welcome to the stage Daniel Curligan. Michael McAllister. And Nathaniel Wren. Again, congratulations to Dante Valve and their new hires. All right, our next employer is TST Fabrication and Machine, represented by Human Resources Manager Mila Velasquez.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning still. We have about 5 minutes. I just first would like to thank the United States Navy, and a special thanks to Kevin Bardo and Renee, because they were very supportive during this process. I started my journey with TST Fab and Machine back in October, and when I was hired, I was introduced to this amazing program which I did not know existed. I stayed on and as an HR manager to try to hire the talent, and I think I was very passionate about this project because I have two children who are in the military. They're both in the Navy. Both have been on several deployments, and it's an important project to me because what you do as engineers and welders and any aspect of the job that you're doing is going to affect my children and my daughter-in-law and my grandchildren and my future generations. So I'm very passionate about what I do as far as hiring talent because in essence it's going to affect my family and your family's livelihood and our government. I'd like to say thanks again to TSC Skills and Trades Academy, Virginia Beach, VOTEC, Surge Force, which is here with us, for providing us such amazing talent and the training of the new hires that we have on board. I was fortunate enough to hire 8 candidates. Unfortunately, they could not be here to join us today, but overall, phenomenal group of people because of the schools, because of the families that are there to support them and push them and encourage them to be better in this world and become educated with a skill. Basically, the last thing I just want to say is I thought I was the only man here or female here sitting at this podium as an HR manager. I'm glad to see that I'm not only surrounded by these COOs and presidents of these amazing companies, but other HR talented individuals. We're taken for granted sometimes, you know, and you don't realize the importance of our job because we are the backbone also of the company, and we want to make sure that we hire the right people. And our job is very important. We've done it for so many years, and we're very passionate about it because it's a representation of who we are. So. Again, thank you all, and I really wish that they would have been here to support and been here to join us, but that's it. Sorry.
Perfect. Again, a round of applause for TST and all of their new hires. Next on the podium, we have Advanced Integrated Technologies, represented by Office Manager Christina Carres.
How is everybody today? I am Christina Corrales. I was recently promoted to operations manager this week, and my career started just like all y'all's. I was 20 years old and entered this industry in paint and rigging, and so my career has come a long way, and I hope yours will as well. We are incredibly grateful to all of you, the members of the Virginia Talent Pipeline, and the leaders who recognize the importance of career and technical education within our community. Without this collaboration and support, we would not be able to achieve our mission of servicing the ships that serve our country. And I would like to recognize the following employees who could not be with us today. Anquan Britt, Tracy Floyd, Guillermo Mojica, Miss Roach, she prefers I call her that, Kevin Polito, and Anthony Bailey. It's an honor to have you part of our team and to be a part of your professional journey in the maritime industry. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful Saturday that is sunny for once.
Right? Congratulations again to AIT and their new hires. All right, next employer to the podium is Marcom, represented by Workforce Development Strategist Courtney Culpepper.
I guess it's safe to say good afternoon, everybody. I had a speech written, and then I've learned from a couple people just wing it, so here we go. We are very excited. We do only have one Tristan here that we are doing. We are a coatings corrosion company, and I am very excited to also be the president of the AMP, which is the society that allows us to find out all the ways of doing coatings and corrosion. We've formerly SSPC and now AMP. We are very thankful to TMG for understanding the need for the next steps of handling the coatings and corrosion workforce development. I was born and raised in this industry. It's been in my blood. I was at the radiator shop every weekend with my grandfather and my single father raising me. My dad will tell everyone he taught me a lot about radiators and heat exchangers, but he didn't know anything about makeup and curling my hair. This community means so much to me, to know that we are America's shipyard community, that America's first shipyard was here in Portsmouth, America's oldest family-owned shipyard, Kalana Shipyard, is here, and America's largest shipyard, Newport News Shipyard, is here. How fortunate we are for this community, and how thankful we are to the Navy and TMG and all of us that are up here that understand the need for the workforce development that we are going through. I am thankful to represent Marcom, and I am so thankful for Tristan for taking this opportunity to join our team.
So let's welcome to the podium Tristan Thurman. Congratulations to Marcom and Tristan. All right, last but not least is our final employee to the podium today, and that is Delphinus, represented by Vice President and General Manager Bruce Grooms.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're really getting close to the end. I learned somewhere along the way that when you're the last of 100 speakers, it doesn't matter what I say because there's 0% chance any of you will remember anything that I said today. So I really don't have to say anything other than it's really good to be here. I have to recognize my partner in crime, Desmond Nelson. I get to come to the events and do the glad handing, and he does all the work. So thanks so much for what you do, Desmond. The only important thing that I really have to say is that don't be fooled by this nice suit. I'm a sailor at heart. For the last 30 years of my life, I sailed the 7 seas on the most powerful ships that the Navy had to offer. And whatever little success I had resulted from simply 2 things. One was the group of fine sailors that I worked with, the sailors and the officers that took us to sea and did their jobs, and the other was the group of defense industry, civilian workforce folks such as you that repaired our ships and modernized them and made them ready for sea. And so I thank you for what you've done, for whatever success I may have. The only thing I really want you to remember is Delphinus Engineering, that's our company. Delphinus Engineering, that's our company. Thank you to the Virginia Talent Pipeline for all they've done, for TMG and for all of you, and I look forward to seeing our 2 folks here next year to celebrate their 1 year with us. Thank you.
Yes. And Delphinus Engineering hired 7 new people this year, 2 of which are here with us today. So please welcome to the stage Colby Pierce and Dion Uzzle. Congratulations again to Delphinus Engineering and your new hires. All right. So Joe asked me to leave you guys with a few remarks, and as they know, I don't like to really go off script, so I'll try to make this brief. I will say this, when I was 16 years old, I decided already at that point that I was going to join the Navy. So I enlisted a week after my 17th birthday, and I spent the next year in the delayed entry program working out of the recruiting office. When it was time for me to go to basic training, my senior chief dropped me off in St. Louis and said to me one thing: Amanda, whatever they ask you to do it your best. I now know what that meant. Other duties as assigned, cleaning toilets, mopping floors, pretty much anything I needed to do. But I've carried that with me throughout my entire professional career. Be my best because it's a reflection of me and not the job that I'm in. So I encourage you guys to do the same. Be your best and you will have success in your career. So congratulations and good luck.
Way to go, Amanda. Way to go. Proud of you. Nice. So where do we go from here? And as we continue the second year of the program, we know we're going to be adding new employers, new training providers. We're enriching the program with Hampshire Roads Workforce Council as they continue to mature their program, being part of that great team. And I just want to impress upon the courage that these employers, when they come to the podium, because every one of them knows that now the hard work starts. It's not the hiring part, it's the keeping part. And they know that they are responsible for the nature of that relationship. So I give credit to them because they know when they came to the podium today and announced who they hired, that a year from now they're going to be back here and talk about what they did to keep them. And they know that that's their sole responsibility. So our closing speaker, as Matt talked about earlier, Command Master Chief Josh Sturgill, has been a constant in this program from the very, very beginning. I believe that all of us, and many in this room, that the United States military is the most sophisticated talent acquisition and retention program in the history of the world. Whenever I hear these statements about how young people are terrible today, my response to that is, you better thank God that those 18-year-olds raised their hand and went and protected our country, doing our country's bidding around the world. And we protected them. It wasn't because of their qualities, because I'll contend that our children and the people that cross this stage today are 100 times talented, more talented than we were. But it's the process that turns them into the people that they need to be successful. And there's nobody better to talk through that than the Command Master Chief, who is a sacred position because as the officers in our services do the plans, it's the non-commissioned officers who get the job done. So, Josh, please close us out here today.
That's just delaying it further if you keep clapping. Don't do that. So, it is tough being the last speaker, but I think I can keep you engaged for 2 to 3 minutes to give you a little bit of feedback of really what you've gotten into, and this is really to our new hires, why you chose to join such a force. So what is the threat? And we heard from Admiral Cottle, Russia, China. We can mention Iran, we can mention North Korea, but what's really threatened? It's interactive, so I'm waiting on answers. What do you think? Well, see, now you're delaying everything, and it's not my fault. Complacency. Complacency is definitely a threat, an internal threat that we can have here in the United States, and I think we suffered greatly through complacency after the end of the Cold War. We actually convinced ourselves that there was no enemy. The USSR was dissolved. The Berlin Wall came down. A few years later, we were without a threat. My goodness, let's celebrate, the world's at peace. Did anybody ever really feel that way? But that's really what happened. It's very similar to what happened after the war to end all wars, World War I, when we disestablished so much of our defense industrial base throughout the 20s into the 30s. And then what happened? An existential threat of a European power with an unprovoked invasion of a neighboring country began in 1938. A growing power across the Pacific with the desire to control the entire East China, South China, and Western Pacific Ocean, where so much of the majority of the world's trade passes through. It's eerily similar today to what we were facing in 1938. And the recognition is there that if I go back to World War II, what won that war? And I'll tell you, every day I get to hear, thank you for your service. Those of us that have worn the uniform, we hear that a lot. And it's awesome, and I love hearing it, and I really do, and I appreciate it. But if I look back to World War II, those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, they fought those battles overseas, and they won those battles. But what actually won the war was American manufacturing. There's some fantastic stories out there. There's a fabulous book called Freedom's Forge that really talks through that story of how American manufacturing simply outpaced our threats, outpaced the Germans, outpaced the Italians, outpaced the Japanese. That's what wins wars, is our manufacturing base. And we did. We became complacent. We've lost our sight over the last few decades, but we're getting it back because it's that important that we do get that back. And you heard Admiral Caudill talk about the numbers, the growing threat in China, and just how large their navy and their military is growing. They're going to continue to do that, frankly. They have 1.4 billion people. We have about 340 million in our country. But they simply cannot touch our technological marvel that is the submarine force, and that are the submarines that you're going to go help build. I should talk about carriers too, but I am a submariner, so those are just large targets. But I appreciate those of you who work on building our targets as well. But submarines are critically important because it scares the hell out of our enemy. And they do not sleep well at night, and they are unwilling to take bold steps such as an invasion of Taiwan, so long as we are there with our submarine force. And frankly speaking, we need more. You heard a 2 Virginia fast attack pace that we're trying to get to each year on top of a 1 Columbia ballistic missile submarine a year. And if I look at what I'm building today and go back at any point in our time, I'd have to make it way back to 1944, the last time I've asked for such a demand from American manufacturing. So that's what we're up against. But I'm confident that your talent is going to get us to where we need to. And so as people tell me, thank me, or thank me every day for my service, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service, because I truly mean it. You are as critical, and frankly, you're more critical than any of us in this uniform. We simply cannot do what we do without American manufacturing. So I wanted to say thank you for that. I want to thank Joe Bartlett and team for this great talent pipeline. Let's continue to make it grow. And next year, I would love to see about 1,000 or 3,000 or maybe 10,000 new hires here at Hampton Roads. Thank you all.
So again, thank you for coming today. We'll see you next year. And at this time, please rise for the playing of the Navy song and the departure of the official party.
Retrieve. Hollis. Left. Base. Forward. March.
Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh, anchors aweigh. Farewell to foreign shores, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam, until we meet again. Here's wishing you a happy voyage.
Thank you, everyone. Again, we'll have the banners up if you guys want to take pictures. Really appreciate you.